Hello, welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today, I want to talk about the dreaded topic of debt. Now, that's a topic that nobody likes to talk about. And especially for those who have a problem with debt, it seems like every month they're having problems. They can never quite get ahead. They can never build wealth. It just seems like they're always behind on bills. That type person seems like they never want to talk about debt. They never want to balance the checkbook, but that's exactly what we need to do. We need to, if we're going to get control of our money, we've got to know where we're at. And I teach wealth building classes, and sometimes I teach wealth building classes for those who want those classes, and sometimes I teach classes on how to get out of debt for those who need to know how to get out of debt. But it seems like I have a lot more success teaching the classes for those who want to build wealth. And the reason I think that is because they already have a control of their money. Getting control of their money is not where they're at. So today, I want to encourage you. If you are in this category, you're behind, it seems like you can never get ahead, just realize you can get ahead. You can. Debt is a very tough thing, and it's kind of like a spider's web that the more you wiggle to try to get out, seems like the more you just get covered up. So realize you can get out of debt. It is something you can do. And today in our society, it is so easy to get into debt. If you got a credit card and you max that thing out, it's so easy to just get another credit card and put more stuff on it and then get a third and a fourth. It's so easy to get into debt. And if you're in college, it is real easy to get a student loan through these colleges. Now, we're not going to go into today on how student loan debt works, but just know that it is very easy to get behind in life before you ever even get started into life. These colleges make it so easy to get into debt before you ever start getting any money. So getting into debt is very easy, but you can't become wealthy, or you cannot become redneck rich if you have a lot of bad debt hanging over your head, okay? So today I want to encourage you, you can get out of debt. If you're in debt, you can get out. There is hope, but you will have to be disciplined, and you have to have a lot of grit, okay? But you can do it. I want to encourage you that Dave Ramsey has a lot of stuff on podcasts. He has a radio show every day, various channels, that if you really want to learn how to get out of debt, he has a lot of good tools, a lot of good information for you to get out of debt. I would encourage you to listen to Dave every single day, until you do get out of debt. Now, once you get out of the bad debt, then you can start building wealth and become redneck rich. But if that bad debt is hanging over your head, it's going to be very hard for you to do that. Now, there is a good debt and there is a bad debt. Now, Dave Ramsey might disagree with me a little bit there, but I look at debt, there is a bad debt and a good debt, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So first of all, there are 3 steps to getting out of debt, okay? Now, first of all, you have got to be very intentional to get out of debt. It can't just be something you say, well, I'd like to get out of debt, maybe I will. If you say maybe I will, you won't, okay? You've got to be very intentional, very, very excited about it and attack it. You have to attack that debt. You've got to get very intentional. First of all, you've got to start paying off bad debt, credit card debts, student loan debts. If you've got a car that you're upside down on, try to figure out a way. Maybe you sell that car, and even as Dave Ramsey would say, you may even have to pay a little bit if that's a $12,000 car, but you owe $14,000 on it. Now you've got to get rid of that car and maybe even pay that additional $2,000 and then get a junker, what they call a beater, and you're driving around in $500, $600, $700 car, but now you don't have a payment. So there is a lot of bad debt that we can have. So you got to get very intentional about how to get out of that bad debt, those student loan debts, those credit card payments, those student loans. Now, there is a way to get out of those. It's called the snowball method or the snowball debt method. You take your smallest payment and you double it. So if it's a $25 payment each month, you pay $50 on it. Or $75, whatever you can afford. But once you get that one paid off, you take everything you was paying on that smallest one and then apply it to the next largest one until you get it paid off. And then you take everything from the lowest two and pay it on the third largest one. And you keep on until you get all the credit cards and all the student loan debt paid off. And it does work. Now, so another thing you can look at is just a good lesson in life. When a wealthy person goes to buy a cell phone, they buy a cell phone. They go, they buy it, it's done. They don't set it up on payments. So if you can't afford the newest iPhone that came out that just hit the market today and it's $1,000 or $1,400 and you've got to have it today, but you've got to set it up on a payment plan, you can't afford that cell phone. Don't get that cell phone. Maybe get one a year or two old that you can afford and you can pay it off right then. Now, I know it's nice to have the latest and greatest, but you can't afford it. And I want to get you to the point you can afford that phone. And when you go in to get that phone, you pay it off and you're done. That's where we need to get to be redneck rich. So on vacations, if you can't pay them off when you go, don't put them on a credit card and pay on them for years. Cell phones, if you can't pay them off when you go get them, you can't afford them. Clothes and jewelry, don't put them on a credit card. Motorcycles, if you got to put it on credit, don't get it. Boats, campers, side-by-sides, razors, those kind of vehicles. If you can't pay them off when you go get them, you can't afford them. Now, some of these things like clothes and jewelry, I know a lot of people, they got to have the designer. You know, if you're going to build wealth, you need to really get good at saying, you know what, I don't need the designer. Give me a $12 pair of jeans, a $15 pair of jeans. Now, when Dave Ramsey and some other people that do a lot of statistics on wealthy people, maybe the book called The Millionaire Next Door, Stanley and Danko, when they did their research, I think they found that the average millionaire pays about $12 to $15 for their jeans, not 50 to 100. So be cautious of that. I want to help you to be able to build wealth, but you got to realize this bad debt will keep you a prisoner for life. You don't want to do that. Now, step 2, live below your means. If this is your income, your expenses, all of your expenses have to be somewhere down here. Everything. Now, I encourage people when they take my class, I encourage them to get on a budget. Now, nobody likes that word. Nobody wants to get on a budget. Nobody wants to say, well, I can't afford to go to the movie. That's something you need to get real good at saying. When somebody says, hey, let's go to the movie, if you're in huge debt, listen, get good at saying, just tell them, I can't afford to do that. All right, it's not in my plan right now. I've got a budget and I've got a system and I'm going to work that system and I'm going to get out of this debt. Remember, you've got to attack the debt. You've got to get serious about this. Now, living below your means. If your income is here, your expenses have to be somewhere below that. Let me show you how a lot of people live in America. Their income is here. All of their expenses need to be below that, but let me show you how many Americans do this. Their house payment, they pay with their paychecks. Their car payments, maybe their taxes and insurance, and their utilities is generally some of the things they pay with their income, their checks. But when they go on vacation, excuse me, they put it on a credit card. When they buy groceries, they put it on a credit card. When they buy clothes or jewelry, it's a credit card. They buy boats on credit. They buy motorcycles, jet skis, side-by-side, four-wheelers. They buy all this stuff on credit. Now, if you look at this, what they're doing is their income is here, and some of their expenses is up to where their income is, but many of their expenses puts them under for the month. So their true income is here, and their expenses is somewhere up here. And every month they get further and further behind. If you're one of those, you've got to learn, I have to live below this. I have to keep my expenses somewhere below my income. All my expenses. Now, I have so many people. We have some rentals. I have so many people say, well, I just got behind. Christmas time snuck up on me. If you're trying to get out of debt and you're really getting serious about attacking this, you need to realize December the 25th is Christmas every year. It comes the same time. It can't sneak up on you. We just don't plan for it. So live below your means, step number 2. Step number 3 is we may have to make more money. We may have to go out and get another job. We may have to work 2 jobs. So rather than being able to go on that vacation, we may be working a lot. We may have to get maybe even a 3rd job. I know a lot of jobs today, they have, you may work 1 job and you may get 15 or 20 hours this week. Your 2nd job, you may get 10 hours this week. Well, if you get 20 hours your first job and 10 hours your 2nd job, you're really only working 30 hours. That's not really a full-time job. Full-time job's considered 40 hours a week. I used to work 70 and 80. So it can be done. So when you're looking at this, rather than just saying, okay, whatever my income is on 1 job, say, well, if I went out and got another job, and I'm getting serious about this, I'm attacking this debt, so I'm going out and getting another job so I can get more money. So when I do this debt snowball, and I start paying off these smaller credit cards, I can pay them off very fast because I got additional income. Now, is any of this fun? Is it fun working another job, living below your means, getting serious and attacking debt? You're making a lot more money. You're spending a lot more time working, but you're not doing anything really enjoyable. Is that fun? No. So you need to have a plan that at some point in the future, I will be out of debt. I will get rid of all the bad debt. And when I get rid of that bad debt, I'm going to start building wealth. I'm going to become redneck rich. Now, when you do that, then as your income goes up, you can start raising your life, the pleasures in life, the things you want to do. But always keep in mind, as your income goes up, your expenses can go up, but never exceed your income. And the lower you can keep that, the quicker you can build wealth. As this goes up faster, if this goes up slower, then the delta between the two will always get larger. And that is how you can build wealth. Listen, I want everybody to be redneck rich. I want everybody to be able to build wealth. So you may have to get another job. Now, another area that you could work on is do a better job at the job you have. If you want to work up, because if you work up in management or something, a lot of times you get more money. Maybe that's the angle you want to go. Maybe rather than work another job. So if you want to get this level of pay at work, you can't keep doing this level of work. If you want this level of pay, as you're here, you have this level of job and this level of pay. If you want to get this level of pay, you've got to start doing this level of work before you get the level of pay. So eventually, after you keep doing this level of work, eventually you will get this level of pay. And I agree with Zig Ziglar, who said, as you keep doing a greater amount of work, you eventually will get the greater amount of pay It may not be with your current employer, but you will get it. So just remember, you can do this. You have to have faith in yourself. This debt cannot keep you if you get very intense about this. You have to attack the debt, live below your means, and get more money coming in. You do those things and you will get out of debt. And once you get out of debt, then you can become Redneck Rich. Thank you very much for your time.